Good morning. My name is Spike. I'm here talking with you and your neighbors because I want to tell you that unless you become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you will be destroyed at Armageddon. I know this because the governing body teaches that this is the correct interpretation of the Bible. We know that Armageddon is coming soon because Jesus arrived in kingdom power in 1914. We know that Jesus arrived in 1914 because we take a story in the Bible from Daniel and we turn it into a prophecy. And we multiply it by a number that allows us to figure out when Jesus returned. And we base the start date of that on the date when Jerusalem was destroyed, with the exception of the fact that we ignore mounds of historical evidence and we add 20 years to that. And if you find out the fact that we used the wrong date for the destruction of Jerusalem, we tell you that you're an evil person that's under the power of Satan. So since we are God's only chosen people on earth, and God is going to destroy everybody but us in Armageddon, we're here trying to save your life and making you convert to one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, when we talk to you the first time, we'll tell you that we're not trying to convert you, which is not true. That's our sole purpose of visiting. We will utilize Watchtower literature to try to convert you. We will place our magazines because we are under pressure to put as many hours in knocking on people's doors and placing as much literature as we possibly can because we believe that we will lose our salvation if we do not do these things. We don't believe that we're earning our salvation, but yet we believe that it's necessary to work to maintain our salvation, which is the exact same thing as earning your salvation. That's just one of the hypocrisies that we believe in. Now, we want you to become one of Jehovah's Witnesses so that you too can live this life of always having to do more, of always being under pressure, and of always feeling guilty that you're not doing enough. If you break one of our rules, we will have everybody that you know shun you. And when you become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you will have to forsake your family and all of your friends and only associate with Jehovah's Witnesses, which will make the shunning all that much more powerful. We will fill your life with fear and guilt. You will be trained to look upon people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses as people that are truly evil, even if they are good. You will be taught not to do anything that is charitable, because it's a waste of time unless you are teaching people the doctrine of the Watchtower. Now, the governing body are the ones that oversee the Watchtower. They act as if they are not worshipped, but their dictates must be followed as if it came from the Bible itself. If you read the Bible and you discover that it disagrees with Watchtower doctrine, you will be forced to follow Watchtower doctrine instead of the Bible. You will no longer be allowed to be free to analyze the Bible for yourself. You must instead analyze the Bible as we tell you. You have to stop thinking about it and accept what we say. Independent thinking is not acceptable. You must follow the dictates of a group of men that preaches doctrine that is rather incredibly stupid. You will have to believe that Jesus was purposely trying to mislead the people he was talking to when he said that this generation will by no means pass away before these things occur. Of course, Jesus was speaking to people in Jerusalem that were going to live to see the end of the Jewish system of things, but of course, Jehovah's Witnesses believe this applies to our day. Now, you will not be allowed to look at old Watchtower literature. The things that Charles Taze Russell wrote and the things that Joseph Rutherford wrote and most of the things that Fred Franz wrote are now considered to be apostate. However, what we are going to tell you about them is going to be totally different from what they actually said. And if you actually ask to find the source material to research it for yourself, we're going to tell you that you're an evil person. We're going to ask you if you have become an apostate, if you are indeed mentally diseased and are now worshiping Satan. We are not going to allow you to celebrate any birthdays or holidays or any of these things because those are all pagan things, which is basically equivalent to worshiping Satan. Any time that you take to pursue things that you find fun, we're going to guilt trip you into wondering why you didn't spend that time worshiping Jehovah. We're going to tell you that the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is using the name Jehovah in worship. But what we will not tell you is that the New Testament actually does not contain the name of God. None of the oldest Greek manuscripts contain the Tetragrammaton. And on top of that, the name Jehovah is not only a mistranslation, but it's not even a word of the Tetragrammaton. The most accurate name translated for the Tetragrammaton would be Yahweh. We have actually printed this information in the Divine Name brochure. We have also printed the fact in the Divine Name brochure that the way Jehovah was arrived at was by adding the vowel points of the word Lord to the Tetragrammaton, thus making a non-word. It's roughly like adding the vowels of the word for Poland to the consonants for Germany, coming up with Gormunia. That's not my example, that's someone else's, I can't take credit for it, but that's roughly what it is. Gormunia is not a word, just like Jehovah is not a word. However, Jehovah's Witnesses will advocate that using the name of Jehovah is absolutely crucial in true service to God. And of course, what better way to honor the true God than by using a name that is not his and that in no way, shape, or form recognizes him, and that also in no way, shape, or form recognizes what he told you in Philippians 2:9-11, that the name that is important to the honor of God the Father is that of Jesus Christ. So as the Watchtower, we will teach you to ignore many scriptures, we will teach you how to cherry pick scriptures to make your doctrine look intelligent, and we will teach you how to arrogantly assume that you know everything when in fact you know very little. This is what the Watchtower has to offer. We want you to devote as much time and money as you can to our efforts. We don't want you to be educated. We don't want you to think for yourself. We just want your money and your time. We want you to run yourself ragged, looking for a hope that is never going to come. We first taught that Armageddon would come before 1914. That, of course, didn't happen. We have always thought that we are the ones that speak for Jehovah God. However, when we predict things that don't come true, suddenly they become not prophecies, but just expectations, and suddenly we no longer speak for Jehovah God. But if you disagree with our teachings, we act as if we are speaking for Jehovah God, and we will act as if you are worshiping Satan the devil. This is the truth of what Watchtower has to offer. The presentation is over. I am making this video because one of the people that was instrumental in getting my family to become Jehovah's Witnesses, recently a conversation was had with that person. That individual used to say if somebody could show them something better, they would certainly love to see it. Well, when one of the individuals they studied with offered them reasons for why they no longer believe things, that person suddenly no longer wanted to hear what might be better. They would rather have heard that the individual in question had died than to hear why that individual stopped going to the meetings. This demonstrates very much so that Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to actively lie when they knock on people's doors. My belief is that they don't actually know that they're doing it. My belief is that they are so brainwashed they don't actually think that anybody can overturn their logic. However, when somebody in the know offers them that chance, they are scared to death. Instead of being willing to listen to and try to understand where that person's coming from, they just want to write them off as evil. So, for my life, the individual who was very involved with getting my family into this cult doesn't care about the fact that we now have something better. And it puts the lie to what they used to say about if somebody had something better, they would like to know it. They don't. They have no desire to know it. They're indoctrinated. They've spent their entire life worshiping the governing body and following the mandates of the governing body. And the presentation that I presented earlier would have been far more honest, far more accurate, far more correct than any presentation or any Watchtower literature study that they presented to any member of my family. So at first, when I heard the response of this individual, I was extremely upset that somebody had basically participated in stealing my life from me, and they didn't even want to hear the reasons why. We had realized that the things that they had taught us were lies, fabrications, and mistruths. And in fact, instead of trying to even understand those things, they would rather have heard that we had died. Such a gross, disgusting, inhuman lack of care is nothing short of appalling and enraging. However, once the powerful emotions had passed, I came to realize that instead of being angry at this person, what I really should feel is a deep pity. A deep pity for someone who is thrown away their entire life chasing a dream that was nothing more than a lie, and convincing others to chase this dream which was nothing more than a lie. Unfortunately for this person, instead of doing something productive, something that they would have enjoyed doing, something fulfilling, something that would have contributed in some way, shape, or form to humanity, they did something which stole their life from them, which did not contribute, but which took, which enslaved, which hurt, which harmed. Imagine looking back on your life and realizing that. What a shame. I have nothing but pity for that person. That person that doesn't even want to know how sadly mistaken they are. Well, the one thing I can say is I have the rest of my life to live. And those who I freed have the rest of their lives to live. And we will always look back with sorrow and with pity for what is being thrown away by individuals who are under the influence, because nobody ever gave them the honest presentation of what Jehovah's Witnesses really are. So keep in mind, I bear no grudges towards the individuals that are Jehovah's Witnesses, but rather this is all about the organization, which is the Watchtower, which has trained Jehovah's Witnesses to be the individuals that they are. I hope that one day everybody will wake up and be able to walk away from this influence, but I know that in reality that is just not going to happen. So in the meantime, the work that I've done is there, and from time to time I might do some more videos to try to say some more things, to try to help some more people. But I am currently involved in undoing the evil that I once did as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So that being the case, I hope this channel helps those who watch it, and if people need to get in touch with me, you can do so through my channel. So thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.